Well, this is her third time recording, so she's.
Oh, awesome. Even better.
Wait a minute.
First major. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna call this meeting to order. I know you public comment. No, you guys are in the, you wanna?
Do we public comment, or we have an agenda, or?
We're in the agenda.
We're the,
But-
yeah, I have them as part of the.
Yeah, you're part of it.
4 and
Is
5.
that good? Okay.
So,
All right.
and there's a secondary public comment that they could interject later as well.
Okay, awesome. Larry's not gonna be here tonight, so, yes. All right, then going first with the property on Miller and Racine. Yes?
So as I discussed with you guys the last board meeting, I'm still fielding phone calls. As a matter of fact, this gentleman from the solar company is very adamant about wanting this property and wanting an answer, and I have told him numerous times, there's a facility meeting coming up, pump your brakes. So at this time, as I said last meeting, they were looking for a 20-year lease with the 2 10-year extensions, and it ends up being, would end up being $4,500 a year. I'm sorry, $45,000 a year, part of that lease. Now, the problem is that is in a TIF district, so once you start leasing that out, you then will be paying taxes on it. So right now, as it sits, you don't pay taxes on it. So what I need from the board is a direction. So when someone calls me and says, hey, we're from A&M Solar Company, that's not the name of the company, but we're A&M Solar Company, we want to have that property, are you looking? I want to be able to provide them an answer beyond, well, give me a month until we can kind of spitball some things out there. Or, hey, we're from so-and-so brewing company, we want to buy the property and put a brewery there. So I kind of want an idea of what you guys want to do with the property that's been sitting there for multiple decades. If the idea is to sit and let it wait, I'm just here to facilitate your needs. So what are the thoughts?
I'm not familiar with what the landscape of it is. Is it something that we could build on if we need to, or is it not even buildable? Is it a floodplain? Is it, because that's the kind of thing, I don't want to be like, oh, we might need to build on it when, if it's not buildable.
So if you were to stand on the east side of it, which is Lions Park, and you were to look west, you could not see the top of the hill. So there is a significant drop off from the west side to the east side. When you guys were looking to build for property for the junior high, that was available, but the problem was there wasn't water there at that time, as I understand it. So now water, I mean, there is now water and sewage to that location, but if you're looking to build something, it's 30 acres. You don't need all 30 acres. It would just be, you would definitely have like a tiered system. You would have, throwing it out there, a sports complex up here, and then you would have to have some kind of scaffolding, and then your parking lot down here. You couldn't do a track out there. It's not level enough. The amount of terraforming that would be required would just be astronomical. But yes, you can build on it.
But it's not as feasible as probably a different property, is what you're
Probably
talking about. You're
not.
gonna have to do a whole bunch of stuff to it, because that's the thing.
Yeah.
If it's not buildable or it's not something foreseen, then yeah, we need to do something with it. If nobody wants to sell it because it was given to us or whatever like that, it's just, I mean, solar farm's good for the environment, lowers our energy bills.
Would they entertain buying it?
Oh, 100% they'd entertain buying it. I think they are under the assumption we wouldn't want to give up, and that's why they offered the leasing.
So with the taxes, so if we give them a 20-year, 2 10-year extensions, whatever, and let's say at some point, down the line, a future board wanted to build on it and it's taxed. Since it's school property, does it go back to is it always taxed even if the school decides that they want to utilize that property?
I would have to get further information on that. You're asking me to look at state law 20 years into the future.
Where's your crystal ball?
It would be a safe assumption of, no, once you lose that and you lose those rights.
You do not get them back.
Correct.
Got it.
So it would go through go through a process with the village to have to reclaim it as a specific kind of district.
Got it.
As we know, the property is ours.
Yep.
There's no, if you did that in 20 years, that brings in $900,000. If you sell it, what are you getting for it? We do even know.
Yeah, we're
it's
not
over.
getting that much of it,
Right.
I guarantee
So,
you that.
And then we still have that property after 20 years down to,
Yeah.
think
Right.
future
Yeah.
board. Somebody just said, I don't know
Yeah.
whoever said about the future board, but then you could do something.
I'm even
But
looking at
if you-
enrollment too, and
Yeah.
enrollment is not,
Skyrocketing.
right, it's not going through the roof.
I'm very open to the leasing, like, I wanna know, like, would that be the smartest thing? Cause the fact that it's sat there for decades,
Doing nothing.
doing nothing, and that it could be something that could help our bills for electric and, you
Teacher.
know, also the environment and, you
That's-
know.
Thousand toward the teacher.
That's teacher
Yeah.
salaries.
Well, that, and then if it is going towards taxes, that's also helping the village.
Yes.
Because they're getting more money also.
And it's also, you know,
Yeah.
I would.
I know, I'm-
I would, if they can do anything, I wouldn't sell it. That's
Yeah,
just my
no,
opinion.
I'm
No, I
in
agree.
agreeance with the lease. I just, like, is there anybody who
Let me double
maybe
check.
has done this in another
The
district?
45,000 is not sounding right. I think I added a zero. Give me
40,
one.
wasn't it?
I'm looking it up, I'm sorry.
you
Okay.
wanna add 2 zeros to that?
No, I think I need to take a zero off of it, actually. What was your question? I apologize. Somebody asked me a question about what's,
I said, what, do we know what the value of that property is?
we do not, we would have to hire a real estate agent to, well, not hire, we would ask a real estate agent to assess it.
Assess it.
Yeah, and again, because it is in a TIF district, it is more valuable than, you know, a property that isn't in a TIF district.
So, could you start, like, looking into the things that we need to do to entertain about leasing, like, get how much it's worth, like, stuff like that, like, I wanna make this a very informed decision without causing a ton of extra work, but.
I think the other thing you gotta be aware of also is what company it is, the stability of the company. They're gonna come in and drop a whole bunch of stuff on that land, and if they just go bankrupt and all that, then we have to clean it up. So you didn't make nothing, you actually lost on the deal.
Yeah, and see what happens in those cases.
There's 3 options.
But there's a solar place in town, is there not?
There's a few around.
right.
There's one on Good Now, there's 2 off of Good Now.
It's
There's one
$1,500
off
an
of
acre.
Indiana, one off of Delight.
What?
It is 1,500 an acre, $45,000 a year, yes. So,
For the taxes?
no,
No, what
the
they would-
lease,
What their
would
lease
get.
is.
what this company was saying
Okay.
they pay you for.
I would seriously consider
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
I would even say, pay our taxes as well, and you may have a deal.
yeah.
You gotta negotiate.
Yeah.
You just
I know.
can't sit there and what's on the table, accept it.
I agree with that. Like, yeah, let's start the ball rolling on serious discussion with this.
What's its
So
value?
with this, so you want me to find the value of the property as it sits right now?
Correct.
From a real estate agent,
Uh-huh.
not from this company?
Right.
And also inform the solar company that you do have an interest in leasing it, but you need more information, that you need more specific numbers
Yeah.
moving forward with that.
Has
Like, what
anybody-
would happen if they did go bankrupt? Like, what is all in
And I'm sure
the
that's in the
contract for that?
contract, but
Would they
not-
clean, yeah, would they, yeah, right,
Yeah.
clean up, but, do we know what, somebody said that there is one, off
I thought there was one on
Indiana Ave.
Indiana Avenue,
Does
isn't
anybody know
there?
what they're renting those for?
I don't.
Is, because
There's
that's
one off
outside of the
Good-
village,
there's-
isn't
there's
it? The
2
one
off
on
of
Indiana,
Good
so
Now.
you guys have no,
There's in Indiana, isn't there a Delight in Road or whatever?
That's
Isn't there
way
one
too
on
much,
that
right
too?
almost by county
Delight, but isn't there one down there too?
But that'd also be out of village limits.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And then, I guess for the village, like, would the village also have to approve that that land can be used for that specific use?
or is that outside of village limits?
We would get a say in anything within 1.5 miles within the village limits, but that would still go to county.
That was the
Okay.
annexation.
Any of the solar stuff that's come before the village board, it was just a recommendation to the county.
Okay.
Passed on the form of a resolution of whether or not we would support it or not, and then it all goes through the county. So
Okay.
If you're asking for a little more input on it, I do have some information on solar. Wouldn't take and put too much energy into this, because what happens is companies have to identify a parcel of property before they even begin their application through the power agencies, through the state of Illinois, and everything else. And then they go into a lottery to get pooled, if they are picked, or whether or not to even do it. You're talking years process. They're looking to identify a piece of property, and most likely that lease will be contingent on whether or not they get the authority
Okay.
from the state of Illinois to proceed with it, so,
So it's a long process.
yeah.
So if we're interested, then they start looking, but it's gonna take time.
And any lease they offer you is probably, I would assume, I don't know, I can't speak on it, I don't know what's been offered, but I would imagine that it would have to be contingent upon approval of them being able to install the solar field.
Okay. All right.
So I would ask that.
Okay.
Find out if it's contingent upon it being approved through the state. If they have approval through the state for a property, they do it by like megawatts. There are, you know, so many different developers are allowed so many megawatts, and what they have spoken for, what they don't have spoken
Thank
for,
you.
and so on and so forth.
Okay,
That's good information.
okay, good. Thank you for that. Yeah, so touch base and see if that's where they're coming from. All right,
It's a part of a program within the Illinois Citizens Utility Board. So they must first receive the right to receive community solar credits, and then we move from there. So they have developments in DuPage, Pontiac, and Bradley Brabonis.
awesome.
All right,
Okay.
I'll let him, I assure you, he'll email me by 6:30 tomorrow morning. What did they say?
Wow, very excited.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I'll
fine.
let him know.
All right.
I'll also reach out to, we're probably, Mr. Whaling's a local real estate agent.
Yeah.
I'll have them kind of assess that property, give me some numbers on that as well.
Sounds good. All right, so high school tennis court collab.
So I was approached by a village trustee, non-aggressive manner, which I appreciated, and
Well, it wasn't Todd.
and so, so Mr. Gaboris was aware that, you know, last year we were looking at maybe addressing the tennis courts along with the track situations. Well, didn't work out, but I asked Mr. Gaboris to come here and kind of give us more information regarding the grant that they have and kind of what they'd like to see done there. Why is he choosing our tennis courts versus Fireman's Park, so on and so forth. So the proverbial horseless mouth is here, so ask away.
All right, so I'll give you guys a little bit of a background, and Trustee Kraus will get a little more in depth as far as what we're thinking about possibly doing. When COVID hit, the village received $604,000 in ARPA funds. ARPA is the American Rescue Plan Act. Of that $640,000, the village used $70,000 on an LED sign in front of the village hall, and $230,000 on a water main project to pay for our end of a split share with the state. So, which left us about $300,000. The village board discussed and came up with the idea that we're gonna kind of use this $300,000 as a bucket list kind of a thing. It's a one-time influx of cash that it gives us an opportunity to do some things in the village that would benefit the entire community, from seniors to youth to people my age, I'll say middle-aged, and benefit the entire village as a whole rather than one specific area or side of town or something like that. So within that, we identified multiple projects. We decided that it would all be used to fund parks, recreational type of things. One of the things that we identified was the tennis courts. We're gonna make a significant investment into Welton Step Park, change that up a little bit.
Where is that one at?
Junior high.
The junior
Part of
high, out there,
junior high
okay.
That the village owns. Todd will get a little more into that. We're gonna be doing some things at Fireman's Park, lighting the walking paths, so it can be used at night for safety, installing benches around it, doing a bunch of things. So one of the things that we decided is we are willing to allocate $115,000 towards the tennis courts. And our thought is, we've named this project Pickle. We'd like to see some pickleball courts installed. And I guess it's a good time to turn it over to you and kind of talk about the other things that we want to do with it if the school is willing to let us do it on their property.
Yes, we're like, can you just explain what pickleball is? So people know?
Pickleball, the best way I think to describe it is like playing ping pong standing on the table. It's not tennis. You can fit 3 pickleball courts into the size of what one tennis court is. And it's played kind of like with like a wiffle ball type of a thing, about the size of a small softball, and wooden paddles. And it's extremely popular with seniors. It can be done at any activity level, very leisurely or very competitive.
And it's taught in the schools here too. It's taught in the schools here too.
It's part of the curriculum?
Mhm.
Even better, we did not know that.
There you go.
Anyways, so first of all, I'll take credit for Project Pickle, because that just makes me smile. And now that's written down, so I have to say it.
There you go.
So, yeah, like John said, this is part of a project, a larger project we're doing throughout the village. The tennis courts, we know they haven't been used in a while. They're about 14,000 square feet. So, just did some very initial estimates, seeing what we couldn't fit in there. Initially, we're thinking of 3 pickleball courts, a half basketball court, and a futsal court. Now, futsal is just soccer in a little more condensed area and a smaller soccer ball, smaller goals. As you know, pickleball is becoming very, very popular throughout the country. Soccer is the #1 youth sport in the country. And I don't know, the kids, just high school kids like playing basketball. It's a good exercise for them. So that's what we're looking at initially. Again, we haven't done a lot. I just basically looked up sizes, did a little Tetris one day to see what I think we could and couldn't fit in there. If this is something the board is okay with, we'll go forward and get better renderings, not my stick figure drawings. But it's something the high school can use, the grade school can use. Like John said, we're doing improvements at Fireman's Park, which the grade school, my kids are all in grade school, but for years, see them walking around there and using it. I think we're thinking of trying to improve, what else we did there? The playground, adding on the playground, so the kids will be able to use that too. But this, definitely need your okay and your input, because this is on your property. It's good for the school, it's good for the town, it's good for the community. Like I said, seniors can use it all the way down to grade schoolers, middle-aged people like me and John. So we think it's a good project that'll benefit everybody.
Yeah.
Our board was 100% unanimous. There was no opposition to it. I just think it's something we can do to benefit the community. Check my notes here. So the village would pay for it. We would do all the courts, we would do the nets, all that good stuff. We would fix the fencing because there's some holes in it. And I went by today, I think there's a gate at one of the corners. So we'd like it secure when we can.
Right.
We'd upgrade the lights, there's 4 poles out there now. Hopefully we can just get away to put new heads on them or something like that.
Right.
And then there's an existing basketball pole out there that hopefully we can use again, but that would just be incorporated. So we upgrade it, put the courts in there, we maintain it, we make sure it's secure, and then be used for the entire community.
Yeah.
Obviously, school's not in session 24/7, 365, so when school isn't in session, it's something anybody can use. The kids can use it after school instead of being where they're doing. It's a place for them to hang out. It'll be well lit. Everyone knows they're there. There was some residential around it, but not too much. There's a nice parking lot there already, so that wouldn't be an issue. Again, we just think it's a good project for the community and the school. That's why we're looking to get consensus.
Can you do video surveillance like you guys did at the Fireman's Park? Because I know we had some issues there with vandalism or whatever, and I just would hate for this to all be set up and then we have any issues.
We could look into that.
Yeah, I just didn't know if that was a thing,
So I think with how the video works, the cameras in the park, there's a DVR system. I don't know if you guys have cameras like in your lot in the school, if it would reach out to there where if we install the cameras or whatever, if we have
If it
like a
would jump on there.
DVR system and that set up for that to be.
We would probably connect it to our own system, but we have, we have cameras that point that direction, but obviously nothing that's over top of that. So
I just would-
it might be one of those things, if Joe says it's possible, we put, if you're fixing those light poles, we put a camera at the top of the light pole, or we do some better camera. And then we can also put on the parking lot as well, because, obviously, to make sure it's safe out there as well.
So I'll touch a little more on the finance and the things. I think absolutely, I think the village would want to protect our investment on it.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
And as I explained, we spent $230 on a water main project. When we did that, we placed it to the water main account, because that money would have came out of our water main fund. The idea and what the board has agreed upon is that we allocated so much for all these projects. And one of the things I want to assure the board is that it was important to both me and Trustee Kraus, was that when we do these projects, we're not gonna just say, okay, well, that one's not within our budget, we gotta scale it back. We do have $230,000 sitting there with a due to, and the board has kind of basically agreed that if something's gonna run an extra $15,000 or $20,000, we're gonna take it from that due to because it's actually appropriated for that. And then once we've accomplished what we're looking to accomplish with all these projects, we're just gonna wash that due to, and water main account's gonna come out ahead on it. But I want the board to know that. When we do this, whether it's installing video cameras, yeah, I mean, if that's not within, it doesn't matter, it's gonna get done, because we're definitely invested to do this right, do it, you know what I mean? It's not gonna be just painted over with, having Public Works go out there and dump a 5-gallon bucket and sit out there with cane rollers and do it. It's gonna be done nice and right.
We're
with
so
the right
excited about
materials
this.
and-
I mean, the fact that you guys, thought to do this and everything for the whole community, and then for something that I think could really use an update.
One of the companies, again, just initial, because I didn't want to do too much without, you guys approving it. I reached out to the company with those drawings that you had, so I sent them an email when they ever get back to me, if they do. They've already been out here, they're a little familiar with it, so
Yeah.
I'll see what they have to say.
Oh, the one that you talked to before?
Yeah, they're way more than 150, but they'll probably be able to help you out a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, there are
Yeah.
companies that, that's what they do. They do
Right.
sport courts, they do indoors, outdoors,
Yes.
that stuff.
Is
So,
there,
yeah,
you had mentioned maintaining it, is there a cap on
No,
how long you're gonna maintain it, or?
No, so if the board is in favor of us moving forward on this, I think that's where it kind of gets out of all our hands as
Yeah.
village board members and school board members. We'll let staff, the superintendent and our village administrator and our attorneys work out an intergovernmental agreement where it'll be spelled out plain as day that, the village this is our investment, we will be responsible. But basketball hoop needs to be replaced, that's on us. Pickleball net, it gets damaged or whatever, or is worn out, in 5 years, needs to be replaced, that's the village is gonna take care
Is
of it.
there any sports that are currently using it? I know before it had batting cages and stuff in it before.
I mean, I guess, yeah, baseball does go in there with the wiffle balls and stuff like that.
But they have the batting cage right next to
No,
them.
I'm just making sure,
Yeah.
like, I don't wanna
That's a good
take
question.
something
There's
away from our
structure.
students,
That's
you know?
right.
Because the pavement, I call it.
Yeah.
or-
Oh, no, it's a
asphalt,
horrible
it's
position,
a
but-
bad-
Like I said, I don't wanna take away something from our students if they use
So
it.
when we initially,
Mr. Myers
before this
saying
was
that.
even totally brought to the board, we just happened to have our pavement company out that was doing all our winter patching, and they were giving Matt an estimate. And I just happened to call Superintendent Connor and said, hey, next time that you got guys out there, can you just have them run it by there and see if they can get a measurement of the size of it and give us a price on replacing that asphalt. And they were literally coming to the village in 2 hours from when I called him, already scheduled unbeknownst to me. And yeah, they gave us an estimate already of like
Okay.
$43,000 to replace it, do a 2-inch overlay of brand new asphalt on it, so that's pretty reasonable. We thought, then you're looking at coating it and striping it and buying the equipment, getting it lit up and,
Yeah.
some security cameras, stuff like that. I do know that we discussed the futsal area would probably be additional fencing installed in there. And I do know the baseball team uses it, which that would probably even be an appropriate area when the baseball team's needing it, or softball or whatever, where in the futsal area where it would be caged in, where you'd be using 2 sides of the existing fence, and then creating another one down the middle and connecting back to it. That would be separate fenced in, its own area on the futsal area, away from the basketball and the pickleball court, where
Yep.
that'd probably be even an ideal place where baseball would be able to, and softball
Absolutely.
continue to use it as batting cage area or tossing wiffle balls, stuff like that. So-
Absolutely. Yeah, we appreciate that. So what's the general fit, what do we do from here? Do we have to, approve a collaborate,
Nope,
what?
you just need to say that you're perfectly fine with moving forward with the project. They'll go back to their board and inform them of it,
Okay.
and then Mr. Barber will reach out and we'll start having Mr. Izzo and the
Nice.
village lawyer.
Is
write
anyone
up some
opposed
things.
to moving forward there? Strong hold? No? I would like to move forward. We
Alright.
would like to move forward.
All right, yeah, this worked out perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, we got our meeting tonight, so I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna be scoot from here right to ours, we'll let them know that, is there anything that the school board would like to see, you know, if there's something we can incorporate anything
Mike?
on your wish list or something that you would want to see in it, or?
No, I think, what I would like, and I think the district, I should speak for Dr. Jacob. But I think like, I'm not a big fan of one porta potty between the softball field and the baseball field, and now if we're gonna have people play basketball and pickleball, and let's say they're elderly like me, and we have to go to the bathroom like.
Elderly.
But can we put maybe a Big John's porta potty, like maybe on the right field fence, so now people don't need to come inside and use our restroom that are visitors, like a baseball
Yeah.
game or the Muskies or whatever. If we can do something there, I think that'd be neat.
Yeah,
But no,
from the
I-
board's end.
Or something,
I don't know how all that would go.
Yeah.
I'd love the doors to shut. I'd love, you know, all those quality things that we asked for in Big John's. Do you have it on there?
How about a big Bobcat symbol right in the
On a
middle
big
of it?
claw, yeah, sure.
Well, let's see what her
Right.
numbers coming in.
Come on, Forrest.
That might have to be-
You asked me what I wanted, and I
Right.
asked one
The
thing.
lights, you know, that should not be just a fill.
It could be like a bat symbol, yeah.
perfect.
There you go.
Yes,
your
that's it, yeah.
That's it, I mean,
The Porta John, yes.
At his age, bats are missed, so. You guys sound like you have it all under control. I just know people have on the visitors when you're
Yeah.
supervising, you ask, hey, where's the, and it's all the way over
Yeah.
there. They're like, can I just go inside the building?
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with that, but just, you know,
Just
keep
side
it
note,
unlocked.
yeah.
But I think two would be great, and I think if people are gonna use it, I think it's great. I think it's great to have a basketball court, because kids
Love
have
it.
complained for years
Yes.
that there's nothing here to play, that they could use. I would say on the basketball, on the hoop and rim, et cetera, depending on what you do with the curb, if you could have it out a little bit further and not the basketball hoop and the rim right above that little corner, so we're not breaking ankles, but, no, I think that's great, that's wonderful.
So,
Nice.
Wonderful,
John, and
wonderful.
Tom,
Sorry, Mr. Missouri, I didn't mean to cut you off.
real quick, the liability issue, if intergovernmental agreement, are we gonna, is the board each
So,
for you and the
I-
village?
So I think, so we identify each other on each other's properties, you know, when the school district is, you know, taking the kids to the park, no different than if a village resident goes and plays soccer or plays on a baseball field. I can't imagine that anything outside of what's already in place is needed.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I don't think you're gonna claim it as one or the other. I know we exchange insurance certificates identifying each other on, each other's property, like I said, when the, you know, school kids are using the park and no different than when a resident goes and decides to, you know, play soccer on a soccer field on a Saturday.
Okay,
Perfect.
okay, perfect. Well, thank you.
And I'll make sure the lawyers.
Very
take care of
exciting
that.
for the whole community.
Good to go?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, blessings.
Oh,
Right.
Mr.
Thank
Forrest.
Yep, that's you.
Oh, no, you have one more thing, sir.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The soccer field, that's you,
Madam President, would you like to go to the?
Alright.
right? The soccer field.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
Team player, team
Run for the
player.
hills. So the soccer building
Yeah.
is rotting, it got blown out, or
Right.
whatever happened, I mean, there's no back walls.
I haven't even looked out there in a while, to be
It's
honest with you.
bad.
Okay.
Bad. Rafters are rotting. I'm willing to try to get, I have friends that are contractors, I have access to the apprenticeship school, to the carpenters union.
Right.
Volunteers, if I can get materials donated, something like that, do everything I can to minimize an expense to the school district.
Right.
Is the school district willing to let me fix this up?
The answer is yes.
Okay.
I just want to make you aware,
Yeah.
it's gonna cost as of right now, there's no cost to the district to make that treated wood, and so, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Free,
so-
free is always yes.
Free is-
I mean, there's two free things here, John. This is.
Yeah, that's the hope, but before I go
Yeah.
trying to get commitments from people on donating material
Of
for it,
course.
or labor, or anything like that.
You'll accept volunteers for help to build it?
Yeah.
You accept volunteer help to build it?
Um,
Or what are you planning?
Like the soccer kids, or like, are you looking
No,
for
no,
like,
no,
Oh, God, no.
you like carpenters, like?
no.
I'm just trying to decide what the laborers are here.
If there was like a parent that was a trained craftsman,
Yeah.
I'd say yeah, otherwise, you know, just let me
Okay.
get people that do it for a living and get in and get out, and not try to make it a whole, you know, fun build day or something.
course.
Just get
Yes.
it done and done right and be finished.
When are you
Awesome.
planning on doing this? If we,
I don't know, I'll talk to some contractors and some
before the girls'
friends, and
season?
I would love to. I mean,
Okay.
I'm sure you.
Me,
My
yes, I would.
situation, obviously,
I would.
I would definitely, I mean, whatever it takes, I mean, even if I can't, then, you know, whatever, I'll get in there and I'll repair it with the existing materials that's there to make sure that the girls have shelter. This
Right.
place is
Wonderful.
crummy weather. so,
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you offering to get that all together. That's huge.
I'm good.
Anything else you want to do? No.
Any other freebies?
I reached my limit.
Very good. Thank you.
Good? All right.
Yeah.
Up my-
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Shane.
yeah.
See, we give Kapoor sprinklers and and look how he helps us.
Right? Awesome. Okay, good. All right, well, we're still actually in the facility meeting right now. That's where, I know you guys were just honored at halftime, right?
Right.
Over, okay, all right. I mean, we could, I feel bad I'm waiting for a half hour. We can wait. Come over.
It is a public meeting, the cameras are on, it is your meeting, Madam President, you do what you see
Well,
fit.
Dr. Kwasnick's not here yet. Do you guys mind waiting for the official meeting?
Well,
Parents? Yeah, the kids are fine.
There's a-
Do the parents mind
there's a
waiting
truth
for?
and
Okay.
taxation
Yeah,
meeting
you're looking
first.
at least
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
At least 30 minutes.
If they want a real lesson in government, I mean, they want the
there's-
truth and taxation.
This is a good teachable moment.
Because the next meeting, yeah, the truth and taxation doesn't start till 7,
Yeah,
right?
truth and
So
taxation.
that's
You can't
15
do that
minutes till it
till
starts. And then that entire meeting.
Half hour.
Yep.
Is,
Yeah.
is the whole team here? I will gladly stand in for Dr. Kwasny
I
as the
know,
doctor
I
on
just,
the panel.
so we have a truth and taxation meeting also, I forgot about, it's not just a normal meeting, we have to do that first and then go into the regular meeting, so if you guys don't mind, I mean, we are on YouTube, so you can send that out. No, is that okay?
Or do you want to wait till 7:15 or 7:30? Parents, I have one,
Terry?
How can I have a fortune
That's what I'm saying.
We can do it,
We
now.
can,
That's what we're saying.
without having Dr.
Yeah.
we can do it now, because it's on the agenda and other, we can do it right now, or we can wait until the actual formal meeting.
Is there any other public comment before we move?
Is there any other, I haven't had any turned in, John, was there any other public comment on facilities? Okay.
Now we go to other.
Okay, we're going to other, which Dr. Gaham is going to talk about our wonderful.
absolutely.
Team here.
I'd like to introduce Kayla Horlacher, the head coach, who will be speaking on behalf of her 7th grade team. So Kayla,
Yay,
come on up.
I need my paper. No, this team has gone through a lot. Last year I had most of them as 6th graders, and we were 2-20 last year. So to go from 2-20 to 18-5 is a big accomplishment, and to go to state is phenomenal. I'm extremely proud of everybody on this team. You all contributed in any kind of way, and I'm very proud of all the effort you put in. So congratulations, girls.
Announce the names and have them stand.
So this is Emily Hudspeth. Cindy Pittman. Laura Cantu. Geronimo. Art Johnson. Lily Kopak. Emma Henderson.
Congratulations, girls.
I don't know the answer, Mrs. Horlacher. The team that beat us down in state, where did they finish? 3rd, 4th, 1st, or 2nd?
They lost
Okay.
the second word.
They finished third.
They finished this. Okay.
All right.
Never a bad thing to lose to the 3rd best team in the state. Really.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice job, ladies. Nice
Proud.
job.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Nice job, parents.
Yes, thank you, parents. Awesome. Keep it up, girls. All right. So I just need a motion to adjourn. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you for your flexibility.
Yes, thank you.